All right, here we are.
Yep.
I'm miserable again.
Like usual. Why ruin a good thing?
Mike, miserable never.
Hey, we're Power and Speed. Should I give the phone number?
Sure.
Actually, we have been getting callers. So
We have been getting calls.
Yeah, so 908-751-0211. I dare you to call. And
Like us on the Facebook and the iTunes. What?
yeah, there you go.
Could you be a little more forceful, Tad, really?
Okay, like us on Facebook and the.
There you go. Use the big boy voice.
Why does he do that? And you were so good on the telephone. When you called, it's like we couldn't shut you up. You sit here and you say nothing.
Wait, now I talk and I'm getting yelled at for
I know.
talking.
I know.
I'm not yelling.
Maybe we got to put him in the other room.
Damn
If
curmudgeon.
he doesn't think he's here.
He'll feel a little better about it.
Yeah.
I can fall asleep, man.
He did call you a curmudgeon.
Yeah, that's
Curmudgeon.
okay.
That is true.
You know, I might actually get that license plate from the Subitard. What the hell?
It's true.
Would you really get tarred, though? Why wouldn't you get Subi Tad?
It's a toss-up.
No, Subi Tad is ultra.
Ultra on the spectrum?
Ultra. I didn't want to say anything
That's all right.
because I don't have a problem with being ultra other than I'm not.
That's fine.
But so here we are.
I know where you're going with this. We'll just leave that
I was
alone.
digging it.
I want to bring up a few things that I thought was pretty amazing.
Newsworthy?
I don't know about newsworthy to us and to I don't think our listeners will really care.
I think they do care.
But I got to tell you, we've got actually a whole shitload of listeners in Utah all of a sudden.
Hey, we're popular in Utah.
I was really surprised because for the longest time they were really dragging behind. And we had that one guy, and I honestly hadn't looked at like the demographics and the geographics, like who was where and age groups and all that other crap.
So does this bring our whole listener demo over the 100 that we might have gotten?
Yeah, 100. Yep. We're
Fudd
just
said?
Fudd said. No, I think Fudd said 250.
250? Have we eclipsed 250?
I think just a little bit.
yeah, just by slightly.
And also Australia and New Zealand.
Well, they don't count.
Australia seems to be big.
I got to tell you that they're probably a quarter of the audience looking at the graph.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's amazing how many people are listening over there. Now, on the failure side of things, we have North Dakota.
Yeah, we talked about this. I don't think there's anybody in North Dakota.
There has to be somebody, and he's got to have a car.
I think there's like 9 people, and one of them has a car.
Well, there's like,
But it might be a Kia.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there are 1 or 2 people that listen, but not many. And the other one that was atrocious was Maine.
Same thing. I mean, you drive 30 miles into Maine, and there's nothing but moose, I think.
I mean, is it really that
You hate me?
No, not 30.
sparse?
Not 30 miles, but I mean, yeah, it's sparse. Like top 2/3 of the state is nothing. And if anybody is listening from Maine, which apparently they're not, but
Yeah, I can tell you that they're not.
They have a big podcaster out of Maine.
Who?
Jenna Marbles.
Who?
Jenna Marbles.
Only he would know about Jenna Marbles. Do tell, Ted.
What? She was in that movie, the one that Mike had us watch. Can't remember the movie.
What the hell are you talking about?
Let him get his vocab in. No, he's saying words.
Is
Go ahead.
somebody counting?
Go. Jenna Marbles.
Yes.
She was in that movie. Be a little more vague. She was in that movie that we watched one day.
No, that Mike had us all watch. What the hell was that movie? God damn it!
He only had us watch the Paul Newman movie.
I was think was it in that one?
Was
Oh my
that
God.
words that he just said?
I like turtles.
It was coming.
I'm okay. Well, if she podcasts from there, that's great. Stephen King's from there, but he probably doesn't have a car after the whole Christine thing. So
Actually, I think he podcasts out of there too. But
he might very well. But we're talking about cars.
I
not
got
if
to
they
Google
listen.
Jenna Marbles now.
you do that.
I wouldn't bother.
I still didn't get
I
it.
really wouldn't bother.
Oh, she's got an interesting YouTube page.
But speaking of Adam Carolla,
Yeah,
you were messing with me
I was.
this weekend.
Yes, I was. So I was at the first annual SEMA export pavilion. I don't know, they called it something. It was a 1-day gathering. Some international buyers came in, and there were some manufacturers there, and we just discussed the benefits of doing international business.
Now, this was actually in L.A.?
Yeah,
Really?
Yep. Well, it was in Diamond Bar,
Okay.
which is 36 miles east of LA.
Okay.
So, I was walking around the SEMA garage and everything, and Adam Carolla's Paul Newman Nissan. What is that? A 240 or 300Z or something like that?
I think that one's a 300.
Yeah, I think it is 300. So it's there. Adam dropped it off to get it shot. It's in their photo booth, which is really a full-on white painted, reflectorized, all.
Yeah.
I don't know any more photographic buzzwords, but if I did, I would say them.
Like neutral.
Buzzword, neutral, light show, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so Adam's car is there. So I do nothing but fire off a picture to Mike.
Right.
And, it's obviously a picture. And I think I might have said, look where I am. It's, something to entice him.
Yeah, something kind of dickish.
Yeah.
Like, look at my junk in this car.
Yeah. So
he wrote, yes, I am right here.
Yeah.
But didn't tell me where here was.
Right.
And honestly, I didn't know if Adam owned that car.
Right.
I know there's a bunch of them. I mean, I don't think Adam owns every Paul Newman car that there is.
No, but it was enough information for you to lose your shit.
And I'm like, douchebag.
Like texts start coming over. Where are you? What's going on? Blah, 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 So I didn't say anything.
I didn't even say anything to Tom about this, but I actually Googled Adam's warehouse to see if that looked like any location in his warehouse.
So
to see if you got caught.
So he went into full-on stalker mode, thought I was with his boyfriend, which was a disaster.
His stalker.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was making
Is this really how this is going to go today?
Apparently it is. So he's thinking that I'm with his man. And but that's the story. So it's a way nicer car than I thought it would be.
Well, that's what happens. A lot of times when you see those cars, and even we've all been around. Well, at least I think Todd even has around race cars like cup cars and drag cars. All different. They don't hit the ground or other things too often.
You never know.
But you look at a cup car like after a race and you're like, God, this thing's beat to shit.
Yeah,
it looks great on TV.
Yep.
But yeah, I can imagine. I would have thought it would have been beaten up from battle.
That's pretty nice.
Well, actually,
unless he restored it and hasn't driven it yet.
That's a possibility too. But you can seed to get Adam Carolla to come to New Jersey. Somerville now has a lot of restored Datsuns on Friday nights now. So maybe he'll just.
I think his particular thing, Tad, is not as much Datsuns as it is Newman.
Yeah.
Newman Datsuns?
Newman Datsuns.
They could be. You never know.
They could be. But no, listen. You see, now why do I feel the need to defend myself here?
Well, you should. Well, because then I said, I think I might have said something like, yeah, so Adam was going to show up and pick the car up, and I just, I left because I don't care about Adam, and Mike would have been like, whoa, how could you leave? Are you crazy, man?
Man.
Go ahead, fire away.
My question is, has Mike watched Cool Hand Luke yet?
Huh?
Exactly. That's one of Paul Newman's best movies.
Oh, okay.
Are the cars in it?
Listen.
No.
I understand. From what I understand, this guy, Paul Newman, was an actor.
Yes.
Okay, but what we've always been talking about, since this is a car show, by the Wallies on top of the speakers and everything else, we tend to talk about car stuff. Somebody's calling, and I didn't turn the phone system on.
Of course you didn't. Why would you?
Well, I mean, it's on, but I can't see it.
It's 5 after, and we got a call.
Who could possibly be bothering us?
I don't know.
Is it Nitro Scott? Or
oh, wow.
Who's this guy?
I don't know.
Hang on a minute here. Oh, I got to push this button. Howard from Redline, what's going on?
Tom, please, welcome.
Tom, shut up now, Tom. Please.
What are you guys doing?
Nothing. What's going on? We didn't expect you to be calling, other than I texted you today and asked to please call because we don't have a guest.
Because we didn't have a guest, yeah.
It's good being back up, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm on the Christmas. I better be on the Christmas card list this year.
Yeah, well, no doubt you are.
yeah, you're getting a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Wow.
You really are riddled with failures, Tom.
Yeah, apparently I am.
No guest, no T-shirt.
Yep.
Wow. And you're picking on me.
So what are you guys done? You guys done with summer break, or is this like the new? Is what's happening? I don't understand.
No, we're just muddling along, trying to get through the summer. It's tough because I'm away and Mike's not away, but he wishes he was, and Tad's Tad. No, but I'm away quite a bit this summer, and we're just trying to get shows lined up between my travels. And
to be honest with you, it always makes it tough because people are on vacation, or people, like you try to line somebody up and you're like, well, I can't do it next week because I'm going to be gone. I'm going to be on vacation. And when I come back, I'm going to be busy.
Yep.
It's just, it is actually kind of a tough time to do it. But
just remember who's there. Just remember who's there for you every time.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Mr. Redline Motorsports. What's going on over there, man?
I mean, we have all this technology. I don't understand all the bullshit. Everybody's texting and face fucking and all this stuff all day long, and yet you can't make a call into your boys for the podcast. Doesn't make any sense to me. I say bullshit.
You're calling bullshit officially?
Yeah, I just called it.
You did. It sounds like you did. All right. He just called everybody out. And I'm not shocked at all that you did that. What's going on at Redline Motorsports? You got anything cool going on?
Actually, it's so hot down here the last few weeks, it's been like ridiculous. Speaking of cool and hot.
No difference here.
It's just, I heard something on the news the other day that that this is like the warmest July on record ever for Florida. Like
Really?
Some staggering number, yeah.
Well, it must be global warming. Hey, but we're going to get some cool weather in a couple of weeks. No, we'll get some relief.
Yeah, we're going out to what, 108?
Yeah, 106, 108.
Where are you going?
But we're going back to Dubai.
Now?
Yeah, end of August. Maybe.
Isn't that going to be like a frying pan with sand at the bottom?
Yes.
So what? That's why I'm going through all this conditioning right now.
Yeah.
This is all part of the conditioning program.
Yep. I'm not.
You know, Tom just went to California. He did some training out there.
Yep.
Ready to
Training.
Going out there to represent.
We've had some discussions about how not to have time taken from us.
That's honestly the only reason why we're going. Like it seems like every March we go because of the SEMA show and those opportunities. But I said to Tom after the last one, they took so much time away from us. Like if we didn't get something back before next March, we were going to be all upside down.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
is this just a going to go thing?
No. We're going to see people, but we're going to get time back too. And one of our plans is I hope they're not listening, but we rented a car. Mm-hmm. And we're probably, the way we're going to get time back is we haven't discussed this in detail yet, but I think what's going to happen is they're going to want us to do something and we're just going to say no and go somewhere else and consider that getting time back because we are morons. I mean, but I don't know if it's going to work. You think it's going to work? We're losing time, aren't we?
Well, we're definitely going to lose some, but we may pick up a little bit. I mean, we're going to have to see if this works or not.
It's the only thing we can think of. We couldn't get a helicopter, so we got to. By the way, sorry to interrupt you, Howard, but so he wanted me to rent a car, so I rented a car. And in the process of renting a car, I'm texting him. I'm flying to LA, and I'm like, hey, dude, I just rented a car. I was going to rent a Bugatti Veyron. Which they actually have for rent? $24,000 a day.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, I was going to get the Veyron, but it was $24K a day, so I got a Taurus. I mean,
so you could actually rent a Veyron.
Yeah, a Veyron, $24,000
for
a day.
$24,000 a day.
Yes.
Wow.
Don't you guys have like a podcast slush fund? Something?
Nothing around here is that slushy.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a number.
That's big time slushy.
I asked Tom if we could slip it through the
petty cash
expense report.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Tripp seeing that on the report?
No, I couldn't.
What the?
Yeah, because we couldn't do one day. We'd have to do like 3 days, right?
Yeah, you'd have the whole week.
Oh my God.
We changed the color up midweek.
Yeah. Oh, that would be bad. That'd be bad. I'd be trying to explain it. Like, no, they must have made a mistake with the zeros or something. Yeah. I don't know. Call Howard.
The Taurus will be fine.
Yeah, it will.
So what do you have going on car-wise? Anything good?
A lot of new ZL6s in the shop.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, we got a lot of, and they're all crazy, high-powered, ProCharger, induced vehicles. Got one here now that a built motor in it. A new ZL6 guy wants to push it for the Georgia Want to Go Fast half-mile event.
That actually is a perfect seg into something that we were talking about. We got to give a shout out to a guy. His name is Squatch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Squatch.
He's listening overseas in the military. And Tad had posted a picture. What was that, Tad? A video of a Camaro.
Doing the half mile and then losing it on the top. Forget now, is it a tire blew out or no? He hit the brakes seized up.
Yeah, I think he hit the brakes
and it spun with a passenger on the other side, just wearing a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Went upside down. Passenger got a little knocked out, but they both got out, unscathed.
Right.
But I was kind of shocked that they allow somebody like that. You're going over 200 miles an hour.
Right, and that safety stuff. I mean, like somebody like Howard. I don't know. You don't do the car side of the safety stuff too, do you?
Yeah. I mean, setting up the car and we were like a cage and all that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so you do end to end. Are there any actual well-defined rules for that, or is it because it's kind of a street car thing? I mean, how does that work?
I mean, the one to go fast stuff. I mean, obviously, you need a helmet. You have to have a car at least some sense of worthiness, but it really probably not regulated like one would think for the speeds you're doing, like you go through in drag racing. But drag racing's got the NHRA and the IHRA and all that other stuff to kind of put it together. So, I mean, what concerns me is somebody going out there with some cucaracha, 2,500 horsepower vehicle that just doesn't have the chassis to go with it, and next the guy vaporizes himself at the other end, and then it's going to get a hard look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, knock on wood. I mean, it's been. I think people realize when they're up at those levels that you got to think about that stuff, but I'm not really sure how it gets regulated. I mean, they're private events. I mean, I would probably, if I was putting on an event like that, I'd probably want to think twice about how I would want to structure it, not to have the problem. But
well, no one's died yet, and that's kind of been in their favor. But there have been some pretty bad crashes. Actually, the one of them I went to, I forget if it was Texas or Florida. Oh, one of them. There was a guy in a Mazda Miata, and the guy was like 6'6", and he had to take the convertible top off the car
to fit
because his helmet stuck up over his little single hoop roll cage, and luckily it was a stock power Miata. So I don't think he went 100 miles an hour. He went faster on Route 95 coming down there, but still.
But you see, certain times now, I'm going to say this, and remember that commercial? I don't know why this just popped in my head. Remember that commercial? It was an old race commercial. Or religion commercial, tolerance commercial. And the guy's like, well, who's Jimmy? Jimmy's my Jewish friend. Remember that commercial?
Actually, no. But
God.
You want me to say yeah?
It was like an old guy and a little kid, but I was just going to say my one liberal friend, Alan, is a big safety guy. And Alan is like, whenever we talked about any kind of car work, you got to have full cage, you got to have this, you got to have that. He's got to realize is that, when people, like if I'm driving down the highway, and this is God's honest truth, I do not wear my seatbelt. I hate it. I'm not a seatbelt guy.
I wear my seatbelt.
I never did. Well, you've got kids and everything. I mean, I'm not. I mean,
no, I don't want to go out the car. I don't want to roll the car and have half of me out the window like it happens.
Yeah,
and get smacked on the street and go flying out.
I grew up no seatbelts. There was never a seatbelt law. I don't wear it.
Me neither. But
sorry, I don't wear it. But when I'm going to go out fucking around, self-preservation takes over, and I say, should probably put this on. Just in case. So
cool.
I would like to think that these people, like Howard said, when they start going this fast, that they kind of got to realize that, yeah, you might need a fire suit, definitely need a helmet, gloves. I mean, they got to realize what can happen. So my question is how did they let a passenger in the car with none of that safety equipment? I am by no means blaming the driver. I'm not saying that. I mean, but from the organizational body, I mean, and I know there are drag strips that people can ride in the car to make a pass in certain areas of the country. But you can't, I mean, the safety stuff, to me, I think even has to be some of your own personal responsibility, doesn't it?
Yes.
Well, it's what's interesting about this conversation as I'm absorbing it, it's kind of like my Z06. It's a car that you bought, stock, and then you do this, and you got turbos on, it's a stick card, and it goes an automatic in it. And then we're at the freaking drag strip going 830s at 165 miles an hour with a seatbelt on, no chute, no cage. And I did this for like 2 seasons. And after a while, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? All of a sudden, it's just the reality of what you're doing comes into play, and then you just snap out of it. And now I'm like, Hans device, the pants, everything. You know what I mean? The gloves. And I'll tell you something, it's made a huge difference into the driving because now when I let off the trans brake, I really don't give a flying shit about what happens because I'm probably going to be okay because I've done as much as I could do to better myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I think, in the drag race, even though, we're going to be getting close to 200 miles an hour this year in the quarter, I think the half mile and mile stuff is a whole other fracas going on. I mean, it's just,
Yeah, it is.
We're actually bringing, our plan is we're probably going to bring our 2016 twin-turbo Camaro to it this year. And, car rolls out pretty good. It's not going to set the world on fire, but I'm sure nobody else will have one over there, and nobody's going to have one that runs like this one does. And the car does trap 150 plus in the quarter, so it'll probably be fun. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this thing's probably going to go out the back half at 180. That's moving.
Well, if it goes 150 in a quarter, in Mike's world, it should go like 300 and a half.
Listen, douchebag.
I'm sorry.
You really want to start this? I'm in no mood whatsoever.
Curmudgeon comes out.
You never are. And you're working on somebody else's car too, right? Didn't you get well, I don't want to say it like I know the story, but didn't you get a car?
No, we got that in the shop. We got a 01 that's on the dyno. I got to calibrate tomorrow. That we just did a E85. It's a package we'd already had done, and now we're on E85 and a big shot of nitrous on it, and that's coming too. So, we got a little arsenal of stuff to have some fun. I mean, we've never been to one of those. I mean, it's just another day to have fun with some stuff. And I think the problem is everybody's pushing the envelope so hard that's where the problem comes in.
Yep.
And you got these guys like from underground racing with these ballistic monsters. I mean, it's just the gaps get so pushed out that you're just reaching so far that you can end up being a lunatic and getting hurt.
It's amazing to me though that still, with all the power that they have, they're not able to go really much faster from year to year. I mean, the underground guys push 3,000 horsepower, and I think they still haven't gone 240.
Well, it's all a function of like what you and I talked about, traction. Your estimation that all-wheel drive is a necessity. But I still say that the amount of tire you got on the ground with that type of quote-unquote performance tire doesn't have the tire layout on the ground that a big tire would. But I understand, like from what the one guy said that we talked to, he said, well, you're not allowed to do that. You got to have a DOT tire, and it's got to be approved for that speed, which makes sense. I imagine it's time on the tire. Like if you're going to make a half-mile pass, drag tires aren't made to do that. They're made to do, and I just wonder what their engineering window is. Like I remember, what was it, Tad, on Top Gear, where the guy was talking about the tires, how long they'd last on a Veyron?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we know they're okay to here, but after that, we don't know.
Luckily, you run out of gas before the tires, so.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe it's the same kind of thing. Maybe they just don't know if the tires are going to hang in there for something like that.
Exactly.
But it's got to all be getting the power to the ground.
Yep. That's
what it all has to be. And like you said, they're not prepared. They're dusty. Still, they are crazy. And like, I remember that thing, you sent me the GTR guy.
Yeah.
That like, just at like what, 220?
Yeah. 218.
Oh.
Yeah. I guess the ABS started freaking out and it started grabbing brakes at different corners, and he had his hand on the chute lever, luckily.
If he hadn't been pulling the chute, he would have been around a million times. And at that speed, you got to wonder if the car is going to take off.
Ugly. Could have been ugly. But anyway, so what else you got, Howard? Anything? We're going to Dubai. I still have to get down there between today and
tomorrow.
Yeah, and the end of the month.
As you get off the plane and walk by the Veyron and get into a Taurus?
No. Yeah, I know. No, I got to get to Florida. When is the half-mile event you're going to? Which one are you doing? You're doing
like September 17th and 18th, I think.
Oh, okay. That's the one in Georgia?
Yeah.
That sucks. I'm going to be in California. I would like to go to that.
Oh, shucks.
I'll tell them to move it.
Yeah, can you? They would do that for us, right?
Yeah, they probably, because I'll tell them it's Tom from Manly.
Yeah, dumb.
When are you going to Florida?
I don't know. Why, you want to go?
Yeah, I'd go there.
All right, Mike's going to go with me, Howard.
That should be fun.
I'd take a trip.
We can pod out live from here.
Yeah, we could.
Bring some microphone. I'll bring my microphone and my tools.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Have an app for that?
There is. Yeah, probably is.
Probably on his iPhone now.
Yeah.
You guys are really abusive.
I don't know. I mean, we're getting ready for a move soon. We've got a building that we're closing on October 1st is the new date as of last week, which is kind of exciting. It's kind of nerve-wracking at the same time. It's the building we've been leasing since we came down from New York 4.5 years ago, and it's just time for the next step. We need more space, and I got bigger visions for what we want to do with the company. And it's taken a while to find the place, but we got a nice operation coming up.
What town's that going to be in? Same town?
It's literally 2 miles down the road from the current shop, right here in Pompano Beach. And it's kind of nice because Pompano is. I ended up here by choice because I wanted to be halfway between Palm Beach and Miami. Because I've kind of felt that South Florida, that's kind of the beltway. Miami gets a little nutsy. If you get too far north, you're getting a little bit into the woods.
Yep.
Kind of worked out good, and never really thought that Pompano would be. I mean, they got a lot of cool stuff going on with the roads, and they're cracking down on their landscaping, and like they give a shit. So I think we're getting in at the right time, and the property is a nice piece. We got one of the rare pieces of property on this main drag that actually has like 30 feet of lawn in front of it and palm trees all over the place. I mean, it's a cool place, and but we got a lot of work ahead. I've actually been working on all the drawings for it, the floor plan. I work with AutoCAD, so I've been, 1 minute I'm calibrating a car, next I'm doing floor plans and electrical layout, so it's been going on for a few months now, but now we're starting to see light at the end of the tunnel. So this fall should be interesting,
How big is the building? Can you say?
15,000 square feet.
Wow.
Ooh, it's like 3 times my building. That's a lot of floor area.
It's like 3 times his building.
We're gonna use 8,800 initially for Redline. The other section I'm gonna lease out until we can grow into it or whatever. And I just figured it was easier to get something a little bit bigger, realizing that you can move into more of your own building than have to go find another one because you went to another level.
Good.
So,
good for you.
And it's never big enough. The building is never big enough.
No, I mean, it's funny because I'm sitting here doing all these CAD drawings and stuff, and and obviously in AutoCAD you draw in real time, so you're working in a real space, and I'm laying out the lifts and the dyno room and the engine building room, and all of a sudden I used up the whole building already. I'm like, I'm not even in it yet, But proportionately, and the big thing is it's something that we're going to own versus leasing, and something that works for us. And the place is just going to be like completely state of the art. I mean, just a really professional race shop. Our shop now has always done a good job. This one's going to be times 10, and I think our customers appreciate that when they bring a car in or they come by. So it's a big deal for us.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Well, that's really cool. That's good news. When are you bringing your car down there?
Now I've got to figure out how to pay for it.
Howard told me not to use my C5. I actually have somebody that wants to buy the C5, the same guy that bought my other C5. And Alan had pointed out a C6 that was for sale, but it was the wrong year. I had a line from a friend of mine that works at we'll put air quotes up and say body shop.
The Grand Sport?
Yes, who had a Grand Sport for sale that had to be turned into more of a race car. If you kind of understand, I don't want to know. I didn't really ask too much, but that deal fell through. So I'm trying to find, according to Howard, a 2010 and later. And a Grand Sport would be good because it has the big body parts on it already. Everything about it is a better choice. So that's kind of the plan.
Okay.
I mean, I want a Corvette. Look, Tom, no offense, and I know GTR guys, no offense. I know.
I never argued that. I know you want a Corvette.
I know.
He went a step above. He's going for the Veyron next. So
yeah, no, I'll pass. I don't need anything stupid like that. I'd rather make it go fast than have something that fast. So yeah, that's the plan. If I can lock one up that's pretty cheap, reasonable, either high mileage or even a little banged up, like something's wrong with it. Don't care. It would be great if it had a blown up motor or driveline was gone. It'd be perfect.
Corvette motors never blow up, Mike. Come on.
Sure they do.
Hey Howard, if you hear about a Grand Sport, 10, 11, something like that, obviously Mike's interested.
Actually, I got a guy locally that was just here a week or so ago that's looking to get a C7. I think he's got a 13 Grand Sport. He was talking about getting rid of it. I have no idea what he wants.
See, I need a guy that had a car like I would have the car when I didn't care about it. Like my, 98 one, 280,000 miles on it. Didn't care. Drove it everywhere. So I'd like to find, what year, Howard, was it starting from? 2010, you said, correct?
The Grand Sport?
Yeah, for the generation of computer I need.
Oh, anything 09 and up.
09 and up.
Be good.
Okay. Well, that actually helps a little bit. But they didn't make it 09 Grand Sport, did they?
No, but the controller, from the LS3 car and the Z06 had the deeper PCM in it.
Okay. All right. So that's the plan then. Well, I'm looking, and if something turns up, look, I mean, here's the problem. I know Howard knows this all too well, and I'm not picking on the Corvette guys. Well, I am a little bit. They think that every Corvette they have is just worth $1 million. You got to find the right guy who's looking to get rid of it. That knows, okay, look, I put 90,000 on it. It's a car and I'll sell it. That's what I'm looking for.
Sounds like a unicorn, but we'll find you one.
No, I'm sure we will. I'm not going anywhere. Not that I know of.
We'll see about that.
Why don't you just buy my 14 C7 right now?
I'm probably going to piss all the Corvette guys off too. I hate them.
Yeah, me too.
Don't like them. Sorry. I know that like technology wise, they're a hell of a ride. For sure, but just really don't like the looks of them. I think they blow it. My thought.
They actually look good in a convertible. They look better as a convertible.
Yeah, there's plenty of them in Somerville. The 2 yellow ones.
My God.
I know that Tad always sends pictures of those guys hanging out in Somerville. Yeah, and I know they're probably even a better platform of car. What is intriguing, if I was going to buy a new one, they talk about this mid-engine stuff. And
yeah, I know.
That's got me interested, much more interested than, say, a C7 would have me. So that might happen too.
I'm wondering if it's going to be mid-engine all-wheel drive.
Nah.
That'd be cool.
It would be nice.
Would be.
But I just don't think they're going to do that. Can you imagine a Corvette purist losing their shit over that? They got mad that the taillights weren't around. Think they're going to be happy it's all-wheel drive if they did that? Jesus.
Well, and the Camara's going to look the same the next year anyway, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Well, Howard, like I said, if anything comes up that's, a reasonable price, even better if somebody's got something that's blown up. That's perfect.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of we don't see a lot of that stuff, like, really, believe it or not. It's
yeah, well, I believe that because it'd be tough for somebody to bring something in blown up and explain what's going on and all the money.
Well, the other part of this is that, and I said this before, the guy that lives right near me that has a Z06, he had his car, I don't know, I think he bought it in maybe 7.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me one day, like after I had my car a year, does your car get loud if you really, really get on it? I was like, what are you talking about? And then I realized after 5 minutes of talking to him, his exhaust, the whole time he's got 25,000 miles on. He never got in the throttle enough to open the exhaust up. There's flaps in the back that pop open.
Wow.
And I'm like, are you kidding me, Charlie? And he goes, well, no, I don't like to get on it. I don't want to wear it out. I'm like, that's why none of them ever break. Because everybody probably drives them like he does. There's only a group of us that drive them like we drive them. Most of the people, they stick them in a garage.
Yeah.
Well, that was a cute story.
You're really treading on thin ice today.
Well, where's
Where's
Mike's Corvette? Oh, it's in the garage.
Yeah. You Corvette guys. Not you. You're not.
So let me ask you guys a couple questions here. What is the plans for this whole podcast thing? Are you guys going to bring this to another level? Like where do you see this going?
Howard, listen.
We've been talking about that. We don't know.
Look, let me explain to you how this happened. My retarded liberal friend Alan, my one friend Alan, liberal. We were initially talking about doing a political podcast because we've all been very fired up about all this stuff for years.
We got to talk about that too.
But you see, if we do that, and
right, well, yeah.
Let me go backwards a little.
Go ahead, go.
So when we decided to do this, it was me and Alan, and I called Tom, and Tom, we all started trying to put something together. We couldn't do it with Alan because Alan was kind of a liberal and a failure at the same time. He couldn't make a really good argument. Like, for example, we were talking about universal health care, and he said well, you need to have something ideal. And he's like, what the best healthcare on the planet is? I said, where? Cuba. And wait, Cuba? Did you just say Cuba?
Cuba.
Yeah, he did.
But it wouldn't work. It wasn't going to work. So then it switched into the car stuff. And this kind of all evolved by accident. None of this was intended, is what I would say. And it just grew into this.
Well, actually, it wasn't intended originally, but we did say, this political deal is not working because, first of all, there's a million of them. Second of all, it's just too difficult for us to get somebody that can argue with us because we're too damn smart. So, yeah.
And you don't have a hot blonde like Tommy, so.
Yeah, right. So we were like, hell, we've been in cars our whole lives. Why don't we do a car, something, and thought of the name and figured out the intro music, and we just started.
And honestly, the way that all the equipment came to be is Alan, I remember for as long as I can remember, I used to listen to things like at night, like driving home late, like Love Lines with Adam and Dr. Drew. That was always hilarious, because Adam was he was a funny dude. And then Alan said to me one day, he goes, all that stuff's still on. He's like, they still do it. He's like, but it's a podcast. I'm like, what do you mean podcast? I mean, I had heard a podcast, but I never downloaded one or went to listen to it.
Podcast?
That's how I started listening to the podcast, and that's how the whole thing started. Alan's like, we could do that. And, because Alan thinks he's the smartest guy in the world. He's like, well, two intelligent people having a discussion, and I'll take it easy on you. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then Mike said, well, where are we going to get the other one? And he called me. So
that's how it got started. And honestly, like, people's opinion is, I mean, insanely low, if you ask me. When we started this, Alan said, well, you'll probably be talking to 250 people. He was off by over a factor of 10. So it's to me, it's been pretty amazing what happened and how quickly. I think the format's good. I think having guests on that can talk about their products or what they do and maybe educate the people at the same time, I think that's very good. Everybody says the audio quality is good. And I'm sure that from a marketing perspective, if we wanted to take advertisers, it's got to be valuable to people that are in this industry because we reach exactly who they'd like to reach.
Yeah.
But we haven't gone any further with it yet because it wasn't really designed to do that at first.
What should we do? Tell us what to do, Mr. Redline.
Outside resource?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think, this podcast thing was new to me from the first time you called me about it. I mean, I always heard the word. I never got involved with one and never realized the depths of it. I mean, I think this show needs probably more marketing. It definitely needs to. I mean, you get some good guests, Nikki from American Racing and JC and all these other guys that make up the industry. I think you almost need to sit down and make a list of who's who in the industry and say, hey, these are the guys we're going to target, and do more to help them promote it on their social media so they bring people. I mean, like this one tonight was like a last minute thing, but the last couple, like when I knew that we were going to do it a week in advance, I tried to like get some stuff out there, and some of our customers got on. I was surprised, you know what I mean? But I warned them, and I think that's something that may be missing, because the more people you get, the more exciting it gets, and the bigger places you can go. Everything's marketing.
Well, so, the way that I've looked at this is that I know that as a listener, as a consumer of media, whatever I'm listening to, listener engagement, and how do I say this? Is not just wanting to listen to the show, it's wanting to be kind of involved. That's why, like when we did this, I bought a phone system to allow people to call in. Mm-hmm. And, actually one poor guy, I mean, we never get calls, but one guy called and he was on hold and we were talking to Howard, so I didn't bother picking him up. I mean, but we put good stuff in to be able to have people interact with us. And yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, and Tom will tell you that like when we have a show link, we'd like to get it published like a week in advance, and we'd like the people that are going to be on, look, kick back to us and make sure this gets up on your page. But it seems like that doesn't happen often enough.
And in our defense, we do have a guest list out to the end of August, but it's just hard to, I know you called bullshit before, but with people, I mean, we work, they work, everybody is trying to line up, their travel, their vacations. The summer is hard. But we do, at one point we had 8 weeks of guests lined up, on our calendar that we had some or complete contact with. Mm-hmm. But,
you can't use today or the last couple of weeks. It's summertime. This is not even, it wouldn't be fair to you guys to use this as a comparison. Cause when you're zinging, it works. But like, I guess my question is like getting it to the next level, I was kind of interviewing you guys. I mean, what's it going to take? I mean, it all does come down to marketing and awareness, and we have social media, and it usually works pretty good. I mean, Tom's all over the place. I mean, everybody knows him.
Yeah, like if you wear a T-shirt to these events and like,
yeah, like
I'm going to punch you in the throat. That's what I'm going to do. Why don't you make the fucking T-shirt? You're the artist guy.
Ooh, listen to the hostility. This is nice for a change. I get to sit back and watch somebody else be hostile.
I know.
I'm starting to get a little uncomfortable.
Well, and I agree. Now, look, I want to point out that retard, Alan, go ahead, Alan, because the next thing I'll do is I'll call your dumbass, and if you're done making dinner for your wife and sweeping your kitchen, maybe she'll let you talk on the phone. Okay?
She probably won't.
You know, he's got me a little pissed off now because he's like, Howard's 5 times smarter. Not saying that you're not smart, Howard. But of course we know that there's directions that we can take this, but the problem is life got in the way of this, is really what it came down to. It was really easy when, I guess I'm going to use a term, when there was no bar for this, where you didn't have to do a good show.
Yeah.
You know, 3 or 4 idiots sitting here talking. It sucked. So what? Who cares?
Yep.
But now you almost feel like obligated.
No, there is a bar.
And it sucks. And that internal grading process happens after every show we do.
Yep.
What do you think? You think that was good? Was that all right? You know, when are you going to have it up? I want to listen to it and see how it sounded. So I mean, I agree with you, Howard. There's probably directions that this could go. And it's not it's not lack of money or funds, or what is Alan running?
No, Nitro Scott. He handled Utah. Okay, that's funny shit. I brought tens of guys in.
Life got in the way. I wouldn't know. Alan, do you really want to fuck with me in the chat room, Alan? Do you really want to fuck with me? Because you know that I've been in a mood lately. Do you really want to start this? Because
he's such a failure too, because everybody else is looking at the chat room.
I know.
I mean,
I know.
Hey, Jungle Jim got in his way, so.
Yeah, a swing set, Alan.
Howard, we have talked about, going forward, this thing getting bigger and bigger. And I don't think we ever had aspirations to make it some kind of worldwide thing, but we have talked about, advertisers and having commercials and doing that kind of stuff that we know nothing about, but we will learn it, obviously. It's just, as you know, because you have a zillion balls in the air as well. It's just hard to, have laser focus on one thing when you have so many other things that, make your life happen. And this kind of started out as fun, and now it's becoming I don't want to say a job, because it's still fun, but it's becoming something that, like Mike said, we have an internal bar that we feel now. And, it does take more time and thought. So, and we realize that.
And you know what I really don't want to have happen? I don't want to have it turn into something like we feel like we got to do better. So we're trying like radio bits, wacky like horn sounds or whatever. You know what I mean?
Or little turtle sounds. What?
Well, that kind of fits you, Todd.
Yeah,
brain damage. You'd like it to be organic, and I think that's part of the reason why people listen to us, because a lot of people that say stuff, on the Facebook page are like, look, it's like us talking. And that connects with people.
Yep.
So I mean, look, Howard, if you want to invest, we'll try a little harder. I mean, I think a half would be pretty good.
You guys, I was just going to ask you guys the same question, so I guess that didn't really
pan out.
Wanted Power and Speed to join Redline so we can push his products.
Well,
I mean, listen, I'm there's a lot of things in life that we all have strengths and weaknesses in, and whatever. We can debate all that, but. I just know for myself, I mean, especially with Redline, I mean, I've done all the marketing, all the creativity, all the stunts. So I definitely have a good palette behind me of like what works and what doesn't. And I know I need to be doing a better job in certain areas myself, but everything I've done thus far, I've pretty much done by myself, So I think I do put myself in a pretty good position to say, well, these worked. This didn't work and this did. A lot of companies will hire these, these big companies to come in and do all their Facebook and their marketing, and everybody, they're all making money and you don't know what you're getting. I know where it all goes. I mean, we ask our customers, how'd you find us? How do you know about us? I have an idea like where we're getting the attention from. And, so, I'm always intrigued by it. And I think in what you guys are doing, which is highly social media, fed, we'll call it. Nobody's seeing you guys in a magazine. Oh, look, I'm going to listen to this coming up. It's all done through the interstate. And I understand what Tom's saying. I mean, I just don't have enough time in the day. And you want to do things, and it's just like, my God, how do I get all this done? It's
well, we're going to get some of it done on the airplane. You know what? We're gonna spend an hour talking about this on the plane.
Well, Mike was mentioning to me last week the people that get paid to market this stuff on Facebook and YouTube and Google and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. When you set up the other YouTube account, you pushed a button, boom, it took it all to there. It's like, I didn't mean to do that,
But it made it that easy. And there are certain aspects of this that are much easier than I ever anticipated. like the publishing aspect of it. It's got some bumps and it's got some hiccups, but like pushing it out to the different social media sources is okay. But like what Howard's saying, social media kind of needs the attention. It needs the outreach. People need to interact. So that's why, like Tad, I mean, I'm not picking on you, but I kind of had an internal vision of, okay, well, Tad screws around on Facebook all day. He's always eating something and posting a picture of it. He can certainly interact.
Yep.
I figured that Tom could do a lot with guests because he just, quite frankly, has many more industry connections than I do. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of how everything was going to work together.
Yep.
And so far, I think it's been okay. But I know what you're saying, Howard. The idea of doing something like this is you'd always like it to grow. I mean, now we have listeners essentially all over the world, with the exception of the sparse areas of North Dakota and Maine. It's pretty good. It's really surprising. So I don't know if you guys come up with ideas. Look, I live here. The studio's in my house. I don't have any problem being here to do it. It's pretty easy.
True.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I like seeing people succeed, and most certainly, appreciated the opportunities to get on with you guys and talk about stuff. And I mean, for me, it's just it's my relationship with Tom. Now you guys, the fun of it. I mean, the business part of it. I mean, it's fun talking about the industry. The guys that are into it, even like JC that gets on. I mean, he knows his shit. He knows all about that industry. So when he gets on, to him, it's fun because you've retained all this information. I'm sure a lot of your guests are like that, and hopefully to the fans out there and the listeners, they walk away going, "Wow, I learned something new. It was actually entertaining." I think you guys got a good thing here, but Tom, I'm not trying to dump it all on him, but yeah, a lot of people know Tom. Tom gets around.
Hollywood Tom.
Hollywood Tom, and I think that he ends up in places that he may go in and walk out of, not realizing, this place could be something for the podcast. You know what I mean? Just because he's there, So,
yeah, but consider this point, and I would never put Tom in this position. Working for a company, I could understand that you don't want to just say to the guy, you don't want to push a customer into feeling obligated to do something that maybe they don't want to do because they're working with you on another level. You know what I mean? It's a fine line between asking and feeling like obligated.
Yeah, but I think the difference is that people like Tom. Tom's not a salesman. He's Tom, okay? And he goes in and people like him because of his personality and the relationship. And it's not hard for him to go in and be like, "Hey, by the way, I got this thing going on." And any guy that like myself, when he told me about it, I'm like, "Cool, this is a cool opportunity. This will be fun, to get your name out there and do something that you're contributing." And I'm sure JC and Nikki from American Racing feel the same way. I'm sure they were great guests. I just happen to be good friends with those guys, I know the personalities, and I don't think any one of them looked at it like a burden. And they looked at it. I mean, when I called Nikki from American Racing, who I knew probably more than Tom did initially, and told him about it, he was like, "What? Oh my God, that'd be awesome!" And I guess he had a great time with it. He sent me a message the next day like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. Those guys were a blast." And I think that's the fun of it, and that keeps people coming. And then it turns into like Fight Club.
Yeah.
Other people want to get involved. So, you guys have to figure out a way to make it contagious to where it's the thing to do. It's the fun thing to do. I think that's what it needs.
Well, it's kind of nice because, like you said, like Fight Club, one guest tends to lend more and more credibility to the next guest that you'd like to have on. I mean, look, if you were two guys sitting in front of a snowball microphone and you wanted to call, I don't know, say somebody from Rear Morrison or whatever, they're going to be like, "No, we're not going to talk to you."
Yeah, true.
But if they look back through and they say, "Okay, look, JC from ATI was on, blah, blah, blah," you go down the list and they're like, "All right, these guys are really doing something." I think that helps.
Yep. Well, we got some good guys coming up, and this thing wandered a little bit, this conversation, but we do have some really good guests coming up. Not going to talk about who they are. But some seriously good guests that Tad got. No, that I got. Okay. And we, like I said, we have been talking about the direction of the podcast. And somebody said before in the chat room that you get advertisers on, and they're going to want to kind of direct how the podcast goes.
Yeah, not going to happen.
And I agree with that. But yeah, that's not going to happen. This thing will always be as fucked up as it is today.
See, here's the really nice thing about this, and I'm going to borrow this. From what Adam Carolla always said about his thing. His thing started because, I'm telling you, not this week. The thing with Adam started because he got fired.
Yep.
So he was looking for something to do. Probably he felt the need to have a creative outlet. So a podcast was born that he started. And he did it, I think, because he just all of a sudden had no gig. He had nothing to do.
Yep.
I did this.
But he was famous too.
He was famous, and that it certainly helped. So, I mean, the minute he, pushed the button to go online, everybody's like, oh, Adam's there now. Oh, and here's the other thing. Because he got fired, they were probably expecting to tune into him and hear hatred, about getting fired, which is, everybody watches a car accident. They do. So when we started this, this is nobody's but mine. I don't have the FCC sitting here. At this point, we don't have advertisers that say, you can't say this. I mean, I could say and offend or do whatever the hell I want because in the end, this is, my stuff for us. I put this here for us to do this. So I never want to feel like I'm in the position with an advertiser or somebody that comes on the show that we now have to, well, we can't call that out because that'll piss off this guy. Because if you have enough advertisers or enough people on, sooner or later, you can't say anything.
Yeah.
Then you're going to be no different than a show that might be on the radio. And I don't want that.
They call that beholden.
Yeah, beholden. Sure. I can believe that. Good word, Tom. Thank you.
No, anyway. you always got to keep it like this is the fun of it. It's raw radio.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I would never sell the soul to the devil for that one at all, under any circumstance. But like I said, just because I get on or Nikki gets on and we say shit, we're not going to lose customers, right?
True.
No one's going to revolt over that. We're car people. This is what happens. You know what I'm saying? It's a different, form of, and I think it also makes people seem that we're real, and we are real. We're just regular guys doing our thing, and,
I was hired on just to answer the phone, and nobody ever called, so now I'm sitting here.
Now you're a star. It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, when you go to Florida, let me know because I want to go down and visit Howard in person.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I think
all bullshit aside.
And that's kind of within my comfort zone. I didn't leave a border. I don't need a passport or anything weird like that.
And Corvettes.
I'm all right with that. And Corvettes.
You don't need one yet, but I mean, you might now.
See, you guys can't drag me that direction because if you get me started, it's gonna get bad.
Mike, please shut up.
Yeah, shut up, Mike. Shut up. Eat something.
Mike, just so you know, the shut up thing is a saying. I'm not telling you shut up.
I know. I understand. You would never do. How dare you?
But shut up. All right, Howard, we got some other shit we're going to talk about here. You should listen because it's going to be funny. But appreciate you calling in as usual. And you and I we got to talk tomorrow about a couple things anyway. So I'll give you a call sometime mid-morning.
Hit me up when you're free. If the boys come down for some, that'd be fun to meet everybody at some point like that. But again, I appreciate you guys. Keep me in mind. I'm always available and a big fan of what you guys are doing. And I Tom and I'll do. I'm sure somewhere the 13-hour flight we'll find some time to plot and scheme over this podcast.
Plotting and scheming.
Just see if you can get him to make a T-shirt. That's all I need. Just a T-shirt design, and I'll be happy. That's all I need.
All right, we'll get it done.
All right, boys. We'll see you later.
All right, thanks, bro.
Howard.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
You too.
You too.
He's a great dude.
Yeah,
he's just a good guest. He really is because he can talk about anything, and he's for real. Like I know his business. I knew it when he was up here, and I know how it's grown down there, and now 3 times the building. And he is really he's on kill all the time. Like he always strives to get better and bigger and faster and all that.
All right, let's put the phone number out there because a couple people actually called that we didn't get to. So 908-751-0211.
Yep,
we're going to be on for like another 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Whatever you want to call about. If you want to call about cars, politics, women,
politics.
Well, we'll be careful with that one.
What's going on in politics? You've been whining all day. You got something on your mind?
Want me to tell Tommy to
crickets?
Talk to you?
Crickets.
I'm trying to be quiet because you see,
we got some liberal listeners.
I'm taking a breath because this is while I can't even talk about this. See, this is what's wrong.
That you can't talk about it?
I can't talk about it
but
because you can't. And
it's our show.
Fuck it. Here's how I look at this.
It's going to offend our sponsors.
I'm going to offend some people. I'm sure I would.
Hey,
imagine.
Nitro Scott came out as a liberal, by the way.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
How dare you?
Anyway,
the way I look at this is that everybody in this country has a right to choose what they choose to support, and I have no problem if you choose to support one candidate or the other. And I will go on record, and I think Tom will say the same thing that I have said. Is Trump the ideal candidate in the ideal wrapper? Of course not.
Nope.
Not even close. But
well, I wouldn't say that. He's got a lot of polishing left to be done, and he's not the ideal candidate. But I don't think he's that far off. His model is what we want, maybe just not in his package.
Yeah.
How's that?
Pretty good. Now I want to just state a couple things with as little offense as possible. So I'm going to use a way to describe this. And I might have said this before.
Yeah, just say it.
If and this goes to everything. If the next time that your driver's license comes up for renewal and your registration comes up for renewal and your insurance comes up for renewal, I want you to not renew them. I want you to just say, forget it. That's it. I'm done. And I want you to drive down the road. And when you get pulled over, I want you to tell the police officer, it's okay, officer. I'm not illegal. I'm just undocumented. And I want to know exactly how long it takes before you get put in the back of the police car. We have laws. That's what I kind of like. I like the laws enforced. Now, that doesn't mean I'm anti-immigrant. That doesn't mean that I don't like Spanish people, Muslim people, or, whatever. When I know Muslim and Spanish are two different things. One's a race, one's a religion. I get it. But why the hell is it that if I would like law and order, or I would like laws followed, that I'm the bad guy? Now, all of a sudden, the guy who's not the racist guy, who's not the classist guy, who's not the elitist guy, is getting abused by everybody else for what I think. Now, wait a minute. If the liberals are supposed to be tolerant of everybody else's views, how come they can be tolerant of everything until it doesn't agree with their views? I mean,
because it doesn't agree with their views.
But I'm not a bad guy. I don't.
Well, that's one man's opinion.
Well, we could debate that a little bit. But I mean, I know the person that I am, and it's insulting. Or should I use the term that's the term of late? I'm offended that people would cast me into the role of a racist, a classist, elitist, because I like the fact that maybe as much of a wingnut as he might be, Trump's a pretty good businessman. I don't care what you want to say.
Well, it's funny thing. Whenever God, we're going full blown politics now. All right, I'm going to get something out. So whenever people talk about Trump, how he's crazy, he can't have the nuclear button. He's had bankruptcies. He's a failure. He's this. He's that. Those talking points are so silly. Has he had bankruptcies?
Yes.
Yeah, he has. I've never been bankrupt, but I've had a property foreclosed on. A business deal went bad. That happens to people. Mm-hmm. It happens to people. But they don't say he's had bankruptcies that are perfectly legal, by the way. But he's also made. What's the number? He says 10. People say 3. Maybe it's 5 billion. Would it be?
Once it's got to be, does it fucking matter?
No, it doesn't.
I don't think it matters.
So these idiots, he bankrupts this, he does that, and jobs and blah, blah, blah. He's the only guy that's ever fucking given somebody a job.
I want to speak to all the car people out there in case they don't realize this, okay? And that this might come as a shock. So if you're driving, you might want to pull over. If you're standing, you might want to sit down. Here's what the big picture you're missing. The people that want to restrict everything you do that's fun, with the exception of most recently, I guess, weed, if you're that kind of guy. I'm kind of a straight guy. I'm not into any stuff like that. No booze, no weed, no coke, or
me too.
Any of the stuff that Tad's involved with.
No.
I'm not for any of that stuff. But the thing that I am for is fun. Guns, cars,
guns again,
guns and cars. Yeah. I mean, whatever you can put together. That's the kind of stuff I like.
Hey, look,
if you think for 1 minute that the people that are against you having fun because, you might hurt yourself or you might hurt the environment, don't you realize, car guys, you kind of have a target on your back? What's going to happen if all of a sudden it's a fine of $1,000 because you had a fart can and no catalytic converter? Or and I know Tad's going to say, well, it is already a fine. Yeah, when was the last time you heard that happen? That you ever got pulled over by a cop and he stuffed a mirror under your car and said, I'm rating you for no catalytic converter?
Yeah, never.
Maybe in California, but shit doesn't happen here.
Inspection does it.
they don't fine you, Ted. They tell you to beat it.
Wait, let me say one thing. First of all, our listeners.
We have a caller.
Yeah, I know we do, and we'll get him in 1 second. But
I'm pretty excited because nobody calls.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're way off topic. So, listeners, if we're crazy for even talking about this stuff, let us know, because we're not trying to piss people off or
no, that's the thing. I don't want to piss somebody off.
No, I'm just talking about going from cars to politics. Our opinions are what they are, and mine will never change.
But I mean, why should I have to feel like I might have to be a little careful about what I say?
No, you're missing what I'm saying, dude. I'm saying this is a car podcast. I'm just saying maybe they don't want to hear it because this is their
safe space.
Yeah, exactly, and we don't want them anyway. But go ahead.
We're still
we got a caller from Utah, dude. Are you kidding me?
Utah, pick it up. I can shut up then.
Hello, Utah.
Hey.
Are you the guy? Is it now? You're the guy that's probably said it was Utah, and I thought it was Utes or whatever it was.
Yeah, no, the Utes are Indians.
Okay, gotcha.
Is this Nitro Scott?
It is.
What's up, Libby?
Not much. I call in and change the subject back to cars.
I
All right. Okay, good.
And that's fine. And we don't mean to go off on that, but I mean, I look at Facebook and I get infuriated because it's almost like people are insulting me. Like, and how many times I've read, if you support Trump, you're a racist. Well, I mean, the fact that you're calling me a racist makes me question you.
All right, let's let him talk about cars.
Go ahead, talk about
what do you got on your mind?
Now I'm all pissed off.
Hey, how many wives do you have?
Just 2.
Nice.
But would that really be a good thing?
I don't know. It could be. I'm a little jealous right now.
With my wife's sister. She's single. I don't know. She's probably 30, 31. We call her the sister wife.
Wow. I can't even tell you how jealous I am right now.
What's the car situation like out there in Utah? Because it did take a while to get people
to get our one. Now he's getting us tens of listeners. So
no, it's well in excess.
I know that was just funny though.
No, it's good. It's good. We got we got circle track guys. I'm sorry, but we got drag racers too. I haven't drag raced in a number of years, but I used to race stock eliminator.
Oh, okay. So he knows the real deal. He knows exactly how hard this really is.
Yeah, that he should.
Well, I don't know about that. I kind of picked a soft index. I picked a front wheel drive turbo Buick.
Really?
Wow. All right, so you exploited the system like a lot of people do, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, and we've had that discussion, and I don't make fun of the guys. Like I think my dad used to call them like N stocks, just like way up in the alphabetical side.
Yeah, like the Aragonas of the world.
But
that's comp, but same thing. You look at a rule set and you exploit it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
I mean,
no.
It's a little tough when you can get a factory car and go out there and run, acceptably enough to be in the program, but it's. I mean, look, the bottom line is if he did it.
I kind of got hated on for that. So,
yeah.
Well, did you win a lot?
No, I didn't win for shit.
Oh, damn. Well, why'd they hate you then? Usually you pick something to exploit it, you beat everybody, and they hate you.
Well, because I banged the hell out of the index.
Oh.
So you're that guy.
You dumbass.
You took the easy car. Yep. Say he took the easy car and fucked everybody that was there really trying to race.
All right, I know what kind of guy he is. So he purports himself to be a liberal just to fuck with the Mormons, and he goes and kills indexes.
He's a guy that sits home and rubs his hands together. What could I do to him tomorrow?
I like this guy.
No, actually, what it came down to is I had the car already, and I was drag racing Grand National stuff. And anybody that's owned a Grand National knows that they're broke more than they're going down the track.
Yeah.
And so, I had my Grand National was down for a little while, so I started racing this front wheel drive car just for kicks. And pretty soon it was under the national record for the class, and I just started going stock contender racing. So.
What car was it? Because honest to God, I can't remember what other car was turboed from Buick. Was it
it's a Riviera.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
The little body style?
Yep.
The first of the little body styles. Yeah.
It's massive. No, it's massive.
Oh, it's the big one?
Yeah, it's an 84 Riviera, so the 79 to 85 Riviera.
Holy cow. I didn't realize they put a turbo on that thing.
Why do I not know what that is?
I don't know, but I had an Olds Tornado for a little while. And it was it's
the same body as the Tornado.
Yeah. Mine was like an 80.
Yeah, same body as that.
Okay, so that is a big car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scale minimum on that with me in it at the time, I think was 3770.
Wow. So, not that I just got to know how what was the torque steer like in that thing?
You know, it wasn't bad. The engines are mounted in those the right way, and they've got kind of a chain driven 204R. I think it's the 325 4L is what it is, but it's essentially kind of a front wheel drive version of a 204R, and then it's got a 7.5-inch 10-volt pumpkin that mounts on the end of it. A couple CV axles that come out. Car went straight as an arrow.
Yeah, I drove that shitbox that my mom had for a while, that Intrepid.
Why are you calling the guy's car a shitbox?
No, I'm not. I said my mom
What
had,
is
not
wrong
his
with
car.
you?
Oh, Jesus Christ. But that Intrepid had exactly the situation he was talking about. The motor was in the right way, and that car behaved like, unless you got out of shape a little bit and spun a tire, you wouldn't know it was front-wheel drive. It went very straight.
Huh, that's pretty cool.
It wasn't bad.
Eldorado wasn't bad.
It had a little locker in that 10-volt.
No shit.
So,
how fast did it go?
1360.
And what was the index? 1460?
At the time, 14. No, I think it was either 1485 or 15.
Oh my god!
Oh, God. So he goes out there and goes one under.
Yeah,
that's
second and two.
And they're 2 seconds under, and
You were a dick, man. Everybody.
That's why he's in Utah. He can't go anywhere else. They'll get him.
That's great, though. That's
Wow.
awesome.
Well, that's good. It's nice to know that, somebody did it on a and, I'm not knocking the bracket guys or the guys that did the heads up stuff, but when you got rules, like the class rules, that's an extremely competitive deal when you go deep into super stock. People don't realize stock or super stock.
Yep.
It's amazingly complicated and amazingly expensive.
And it's their problem. If they could have got a Buick Riviera and hit the index.
Sure,
too.
but you know what happens? That there's guys that want to be the guy. If everybody's running a 435 horsepower rated 454, then that's what they want to race, and they want to be the guy. Some of these people want to go where the fast guys are because they want to beat the good guy.
Yep,
and that's an expensive proposition.
Yep. Yeah, you got to work on
I'll
that.
make it back out sometime soon. I still have the car though. So.
Oh, really? Put a picture of it up on our Facebook page when you get a chance. If you don't,
I'll lower the property value.
that's all right.
No, it's actually not a bad looking car. It's just really a stupid drag car. It's really not a good platform for it, but it was a hell of a lot of fun.
Well, me and Tad have Subarus, so as far as stupid cars go, we both have
It's
Subarus.
got at least all-wheel drive.
True, that's true.
But it actually short times pretty well. It never really struggled too bad with traction. I mean, for a low power car like that, it didn't really have a lot of trouble. The bitch of it was, having slick swat up in the beams. The rollout was a guessing game.
Oh yeah.
You could try and be dead on a light, and it could vary a ton either direction.
Well, I got to tell you, definitely put a picture of it. Put a picture of it up, because Tom and I were talking about this today. If you peruse through the people that like, Power and Speed on Facebook, there's an amazing amount of cars and
Nice
a lot
stuff.
of nice stuff,
Yeah.
exotic, not exotic like exotic type cars, but, very interesting stuff. And we really got to start talking about some of the listeners' cars.
Would it be better to have them put pictures of their girlfriends up?
Yeah, but I think the cars are probably better.
Yeah, true.
So that's just
My bad.
leave it at
I'm
that.
not going to be able to get permission to put pictures of the wives up. Sorry.
Neither one.
No, neither one.
All right, man. Well, listen, we're glad you're listening from Utah, and if you can help spread the word, that's awesome.
Hey, give us a go Trump before you leave.
No, man, I can't do that. I can give you a feel to burn.
Okay, I can live with that. I can actually live with that.
I will say this: out of everybody that campaigned, beyond a shadow of the doubt, he is the guy with the most integrity. He is the guy that believes everything he's saying. He is the most.
He can't help. He's nuts.
He's nuts. He's ready for the lunatic farm, but he is honestly, he had the most integrity out of anybody in that whole thing. He really did.
Yeah, people ask me if I had, or why I was interested in Bernie Sanders. I'm like, he's just the best human being in the race, other than this politics, which probably wouldn't have much effect anyway, because he's not going to get him through the legislative end anyway.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, when you talk about the stuff, like the president, he might be the guy sitting behind the steering wheel of the bus, but he really doesn't have the entire say on where it goes.
So Trump's not going to have a button in his pocket that he could launch nuclear strike on?
No, it won't be in Air Force One. He won't have a button like that in a plane. What, are you kidding me?
Nope. I know that.
I wouldn't want anybody to have a button like that.
Ask for that now.
Yeah, probably. You don't need a button. You open your phone up and there's just a big nuke button and you just push it on your iPhone.
Oh, man.
No, so I can understand your Sanders support. I can't understand how you think everybody's going to pay for everything you wanted, but like you said, it probably wouldn't happen anyway.
No, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, that's how I kind of looked at it, was that, kind of pragmatically was, most of that shit's not going to make it through anyway. And he was just obviously, without a doubt, kind of the best human in the race.
And I did abuse the ever-loving shit out of him on Twitter, and he took it. Never blocked me, never did anything.
I don't want to continue this political stuff, but I will say, you guys said he stuck to his word pretty much, is what you're saying.
Until the end.
But being the best human is not the case, because he does want to take everybody's money and redistribute it. So
yeah, but I mean, he's the one thing I will say is he's not doing that for evil. That's not.
No, yeah.
He has
no one ever did do it for evil.
No. But what I'm saying is
that's all you have to hear. No one ever did do it for evil.
No, but the guy actually has good intentions. I just feel he's a little misguided.
No socialists do.
Okay. See, now Tom and I are going to end up fighting.
Unless he was going to pay himself $25,000 a year, then he's full shit. He'd be the puppet master, and
he thinks. I don't think he's got that in him.
Yeah, he does.
What about guys like Cheney and Rumsfeld? Didn't they kind of do it to line their own pockets with what do you call it?
No, that's nonsense.
They had together.
Negative. They all had money already.
Well, obviously, but I mean,
One thing. Hey, listen. One thing you would have to know, if you truly do want to argue about politics, we do know an awful lot about it. So you can't just
religion. I'll argue with you.
Yeah, you'd kill me on that. You would kill me. and the pros and cons of having multiple wives, but politics, your facts better be right. Use the Google with 2 O's. Alan never did, and
so far we've gone from front wheel drive turbo Buick
back to politics
to religion and back again.
But not for nothing. This is the dumb shit that would have happened at the old shop if you were sitting around.
I know.
I mean, this is exactly what would happen.
While we were fixing the dyno or something.
Ralph would come in and yell at everybody.
Don't you guys have anything to do? No, not really, Dad.
Sorry.
I think what we can take from all of this is that the front-wheel drive turbo Buick is the Bernie Sanders of drag racing.
Well
There
played.
you go.
Well played.
Just messes up the whole system.
Yeah.
Nice.
Takes down the index and boom.
All right, man. Well, look, thanks for calling. We appreciate it.
Yes,
and
no
we're gonna keep trying to do our thing, and hopefully you keep listening.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Maine's next on the target now.
What?
Maine's next on the target now.
I don't think we got any prayer in that, and except maybe snowmobiles when it's cold.
Scott, really, thanks a lot for calling, man. We appreciate it. We appreciate you listening, and spread the word if you can.
And getting the tens of listeners.
Now, listen, Utah is pretty good.
I stole that line from the Chief and Sean podcast, by the way.
Okay.
Well, that's all right. You used it well.
Didn't want anybody to think it was I was originally funny or anything. No, I totally ripped that off with Chief and Sean.
All right. We'll see you, buddy.
Thanks.
Sounds good.
All right, bro.
It was
guy.
nice.
Yeah.
It was all right.
He's funny.
He's from
Naturally funny.
Utah. He's okay.
Our first Italian caller.
Italian? Now he's Italian? I think this is such a mess.
Yeah, whatever he is.
Well, we do have some guests lined up for next time.
Yeah, we do.
And
was it Scott or was it Ryan? Well, one of our guys said they would like more notice, and I got to apologize firstly because it's on me to not give Mike enough time to get a reasonable amount of time out there to show who we're having on. But I will do better at that. We'll try to get maybe 3-4 days notice.
well, the problem is we talk about this all the time. All of a sudden, it's like, oh fuck, it's Sunday.
Yeah, I know.
And then, you get wrapped up in work and then you can't call people. Now wait, I'm a little bit of hatred. I had seen on, I can't remember whose timeline thing or however the hell any of this Book of Faces work. There was somebody appeared with a car that looked really neat because it had an LS in it and it was turbocharged and it had like a drag looking tire on it. And I'm like, the fuck is that? And I started thinking it was the one car that like somebody custom produced or whatever that we had looked at. And I said, why would you do that? You know, I can't remember even who that was. Tad probably remembers. It was a while back. Not the guys I hated on because they didn't have air conditioning. The other
Tad looks nobody home. I don't remember even what you're talking about.
All right. Well, anyway, this car, it's from SLC.
Okay.
And it's super light cars. And it's one of the better looking.
The link you sent me, right?
Yeah. Now I remember. Yeah.
One of the better. Yeah. But those aren't the ones we were talking about sooner.
Oh, we were talking about
last time.
Oh, yeah. I know the ones that didn't have air conditioning, and we called them, and yeah, that was Factory 5.
Okay, yeah. And then there was another guy in the middle of that.
Yeah, so, that you found.
Yes,
but that car was ugly.
Yeah.
Sorry
if that guy figures out we're talking. There's that.
He's probably out of business.
Yeah, there's that. Ugly. That careful, not offend anybody podcast. I sent those guys a link to our stuff. And I sent them a message over Facebook. They read it. They didn't answer.
Huh.
So I tried to get some people, but some people are just not going to want to do this. And I don't want to hate on them because they certainly don't have to answer. They could say, well, it's not like some, and I gave them the one from Keith from Total Seal. I said, look, give a listen. This is what we're like. And they had some neat stuff, and I'm not trying to hate on them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of what happens. Like this guy might write back a week from now and be like, hey, I'd like to come on there. I'd like to talk about my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Great. That's what we need.
Well, kind of in our defense also, the last couple, and I'm not going to name names. It actually wasn't the last one, but a few back, we had him scheduled for over a week and we could not get anything done out of them. Couldn't get it. We couldn't get our link shared. Nothing happened literally until Monday. We couldn't do anything. Again, I don't want to say who it is, but we'll get better at that. And just so everybody listening knows, in the very near future, we're going to have a big injector guy. We're going to have another big nitrous guy. We're going to have a really big engine builder on, somebody that everybody knows. We're going to have an electronics guy, an ECU guy. Those are all we're talking with those people already. Our people are talking to their people. Contracts are getting signed. I am so full of shit right now. I'm not full of shit about all the people, but we do have some good guests coming up, and we will try to give you guys a little more notice.
All right.
We'll do our level best.
Yeah. It is, the guy who does the least during the day. Look, I'm not minimizing what you do, Tad, for work.
Yeah.
But most times when you guys leave, I go back to work because I have to talk to the Chinese people and to the Ukrainian people, to all the other people in the middle of all this. So, one of the things that I think you should focus on, Thaddeus, friend of many years, you're the Facebook guy. You know how to do all this shit.
I do?
Well, yeah, you have this No Sleep at All and Barn Find Nation and all this crap. You're Mr. Media. So,
Jenna Marbles,
do some media stuff with this.
If I could do it better, I'd have a lot more people following me. So it's like I'm trying to find it myself.
Okay, Patsy Marbles.
That's it. I'm done. I can't go down that road now. All right. Well, we'll be back next week with a guest. I don't know who it'll be. I think Tom has a pretty good idea, but he doesn't want to let it out yet. So I guess that's it. Anything else, Tom? Tad?
No.
I'll go back to answering phones?
Just good night.
You should. All right. See you next time, guys.